terrified of guns. I feel like I know when they gonna get drawn. I just jumped in my car like, girl, I'm finna go. Something finna happen. As soon as I said that, dude jumped in his car, reversed, almost hit his friend, and just got to shooting. I took off. I got pregnant when I was 18, so I was with him a few years. I was close with him until he got him another girlfriend. He wasn't no bad person, like the streets made it seem. He was just out here trying to feed his kids. People got to make it. So that's what he tried to get out here and do. He felt like he had kids and they had to eat. So I don't think it was wrong. Because it's hard out here. And it is. It breaks my heart that I can't see him like I want to. Yeah. Then my kids, they want to see him and they can't. I don't know. But wish he wasn't locked up. He left me with 2 kids. That's the only thing I was really mad about. I had 2 kids by him. Then he go get locked up.
I first met Duck in like 96, 97, when our gang was in tour with they gang. They gang was from like 53rd and Harper, and you know we from 52nd and Drexel. So Duck used to come down to Drexel and he'd shoot at us. And it's like concrete jumping off the ground, hitting, and his shells hitting the cars. Because our 2 gangs was in tour. That's the first time I even heard his name or knew about him. Man, Duck as a person, man, he was a caring dude. You know what I'm saying? Like he'd come talk to me about his girlfriend problems, and that's the Duck that I know. I thought he was my friend.
Didn't hurt so much for me as I did for Brandon. He has uncles and he have grandfathers and he have cousins and whatnot that could help raise him, but it's nothing like a dad. And he was very young, and having, you know, that's all he know about his dad is in and out of jail.
He doesn't look exactly like him, but he has enough of the mannerisms and just his attitude as a whole, like his dad. He's very playful, he's very smart, but just does not listen. I worry a lot. There's so much gang activity and drug activity in Rockford that I worry about both my grandsons getting involved and with wrong people. I met Bradford one night. My daughter was picking me up from work, and she introduced me to the guy in the car. This was my boyfriend. I didn't pay him any attention. First time I really, other than seeing him in the car, remember being around Brad. I went over one day, and one of their friends says, "Martha, I think you need to know Jennifer's pregnant." Well, after that day, Brad and I became really close because I punched him. And after that, I started taking him to church with me, and I just really grew to love him, and he was just my boy.
Hello? What's up?
What's up?
Brad, did that you?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
What'd you do for your birthday?
We went to the park.
Went to the park, what'd you do?
We played.
What kind of cake you had?
A race car.
A race car, you saved me a piece?
Huh?
You saved me a piece?
Nope.
Huh?
Nope.
8 years old. Get big. Brandon, find something to do positive with their free time. Even at school, you gotta just remember, like, the only way that you will be successful is with an education, Brandon. You gotta stay in school.
Okay.
That's the only way we gonna make it. We gotta educate ourselves. Don't spend all your time sitting in the room playing a video game. Go outside and play and go to school and just be good.
Okay.
Well, I wish I was outside playing right now, running around.
And my son's voice give me strength, man. When I hear it, it don't break me down. Like, I don't cry. I'll be proud when I'm proud of that boy, man. When I hear his voice assures me that, like, man, I got a date still, you know. When I can able to get on the phone and I can hear his voice and it's so strong and healthy, that give me power to, like, yeah, I can make it out and still be able to kick it with him, you know.
The severity of the situation never hit me until, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, I get a call from the hospital across town that he'd been mugged. And I'm thinking, well, how did that happen? They said, well, we're taking him to surgery. We'll call you when it's over. 9 o'clock the next morning, they called me that he was finally out of surgery. And I talked to the doctor because I had worked at that hospital before. And he told me that somebody had mashed Brad's hands. He said it's the worst case he'd ever seen. It took him 7 hours to put his hands back together. The hands were mashed flat, the fingers were split, and the flesh was coming through. All the bones down to the wrist, just mashed, like hamburger.
If you look at the video footage from the Kishwaukee house, you see bandages on both of Bradford Dotson's hands throughout that time period. And that is from Daryl Duck Davis. What happened was Duck suspected Bradford of snitching on the gang or of stealing money, something that went against Duck and the organization. So Duck gathered up the gang members over at the Underwood Drug House. He had Joel Turner hold a gun to Bradford Dotson's head. Bradford Dotson was made to spread eagle on the floor, all of his clothes off, and Duck took a hammer and he broke both of Bradford Dotson's hands.
He just hit my hands 3 times with the hammers. He busted me. It don't take that much to break no hands with no hammer. He hit my hands 3 times. I did steal them guns, though. I needed cash quick because I wasn't trying to be around like that, man. I stayed around because he, like, really made me come around. When I got to the hospital, he immediately came and got me from my baby mother's house. When we pulled up to the trap, I was trying to show that I wasn't affected by my hands being broke. So I was like, man, help me move this sofa. You know, so we moved the sofa, even though it was hurting. I wanted to show them that, like, man, I'm stronger than what y'all perceive. I was scared that if I tried to leave or if I didn't do what he said, that he was going to take me off somewhere and kill me somewhere. Flat out, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell the truth, I was scared. I didn't want to die.
Yeah, my middle finger look like a hot link that cut too long. You know how to split like that on stove? You should see my shit when I got the Band-Aid. This hand right here, Mom, this motherfucker. This motherfucker got put in the microwave. Damn, man.
Bye, Grandma.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. I see you later. I'm going over to Hyde Park. Okay. Love you. Love you, boo-boo. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. What did you eat for breakfast and lunch?
I had some eggs this morning. And for lunch I had a sloppy joe.
Oh, well, that's nice. You didn't have no bacon?
Nah, they don't serve bacon too often.
Okay. Well, I'm so glad to hear your voice, and, you know, you're doing fine, and I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
We're just trying to make it and trying to look forward in you coming back home with us. And that's all you can do. Oh, you got to go now? Okay, love you.
I love you too.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Uh-huh.
It's funny how my life ended up on the road to self-destruction. When I was younger, a kid, I should say around the age of 8 or 9 years old, I hated drugs and I hated gangs. I grew up in the house with a mother and an uncle who was addicted to cocaine and heroin. In the midst of all this chaos, you have my grandmother who I love with all my heart and soul. She kept a roof over my head, designer clothes on my back, and made sure I didn't miss a meal. My grandmother provided for me and my sister the best she could. She even did her best to teach me how to be a man. She told me to stand up for myself, to beat the living shit out of anyone who disrespected me. She always tried to keep me away from drugs, and she always said, boy, you see how that shit got your mama, your daddy, your uncle looking like skin and bones? Don't you ever fuck with that shit. And I remember her saying that, them little voices in my head to this day.
Oh, I miss my grandson very much. He's always been in my life. I raised my children by myself with no support. My children and my grandkids. That was my choice of taking care of them. That was my choice because I didn't want to see them in the system. And I did the best I could to shelter them as much as I could, to shelter them. I am very much surprised with this. Very much surprised. And I'm also disappointed in him being in jail because, you know, as a grandparents, we don't choose these things for our children or our grandkids. You know, he wasn't raised like this here. I punched the time clock. My grandparents and my mother, they taught me to punch the time clock, and I tried to instill this in my kids. You have to work for what you get. I don't know what went wrong. I think the peer pressure, I think getting involved with the wrong type of people. I think that's where it came from. You know, you want to follow the leader, see what you see everybody else do. This is how I feel as a grandparent, you know, and I'm hoping that he'll get through this. He'll get through.
It's my fault. I've been using drugs. You know, he never seen me get high or anything like that. But as a parent getting high, I wonder, is it my fault? I really feel guilty about this. You know, did I start this? Did I start him, you know, even, not saying bringing it around him, but just the idea of me doing it. Am I the cause of this?
It's an effect. It has an effect on your children. It has an effect on your children because it also has an effect on me as a parent. So I'm sure it has an effect on him. I'm very disappointed in you all too, and you know I speak frankly.
All right, but I have tremendously slowed down. I haven't had any heroin in 2 months. I had started back because I got depressed again. I really think about this all the time. Am I the reason for this? I'm doing this.
I mean,
I could be.
Had an influence.
It could be all my fault still. It could be my. Yes, it could be all my. It could be all my fault. It could still be my fault.
Even though you and Dad